Hey, welcome. It's Wednesday. It is time for our weekly group coaching session. I want to thank everybody in the Zoom rooms and those, thank you for those tuning in via this live stream where you can get the free peek into the weekly group coaching session on YouTube. Hey, let's get going. We've been talking a lot about mindset lately. Of course, in previous past live streams and that we've piped into over this streaming service, we've talked about the 4 steps of getting exactly what it is that you want out of life or out of business, your career to be exact. And we went into depth over each step fully. And then we've talked about attitude. We've talked about replacing limiting thoughts and limiting self-talk, and how we can take those, block them out, replace them with the thought of victory. Hey, this episode tonight, our topic tonight, we're talking about smashing blocks, and this is breaking through the mental barriers that hold us back. And so, before we get going tonight, I do want to pay the bills here. And if you are stuck or feeling stuck in your current position in life or in your career, and you've making multiple attempts to try to move forward and advance, because having a promotion or getting even a better position, even with if it meant leaving your company, would do wonders for you and your family. It would be able to provide the income it would need to fulfill your goals, dreams, or visions that you set out to achieve. But hey, it's the hard knock state. We keep getting bonked in the head time and time again. We can't find a way to advance. It seems like we're taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back all the time. Well, hey, that's where a little coaching comes into play. And you can start off simply by watching this live stream and the other past live streams of previous weekly group coaching sessions. You can go online to thehardknockstate.com, and you can schedule a free 15-minute strategy session. And we'll I quickly identify what's going on and what's the best path for you to take, whether that's just joining the group coaching weekly sessions, or whether that's a private one-on-one group coaching session. Private one-on-one group coaching sessions, they're done any way that you need it to. I'm willing to do it in person, over Zoom, over phone, whatever it's going to take to make you feel comfortable enough to open up and start diving into what's really holding you back. And keep in mind, coaching is not therapy. Okay, coaching is not a therapist sitting on a chair, taking notes, telling you what to do. Coaching is more working with you as an individual, as a business, or a sales team, and figuring out ways each individual could find out what those mental blocks are that are holding them back, and make them understand it, make them realize it, and ultimately they're the ones who are going to correct it. And so for $97 a month, you can join my weekly group coaching. And so you can do it month by month for $97. You can save yourself a couple bucks if you choose the 3 or 6 month option. But kind of let's start by thinking about this and what we cover. So the foundations of the hard knock state, that's my easy to follow, simple 4-step system. We go into mindset, no limit thinking and attitudes, and then into the blueprint, the process of how we're going to get what it is that we've set out to achieve, whether it's a goal, a dream, or a vision, whether it's if you're in sales now, making more sales, hitting new targets, putting out more units per month. Again, it could be as simple as you being a stay-at-home parent and trying to get the whole family on board to see one ultimate goal or dream or vision, and you having to push your husband or wife to go out if they're the main breadwinner and produce more. Maybe it's getting the kids involved, having them help out around the house more, so maybe you can start a part-time business or a stay-at-home business, and you just need the support from everybody else. But having an extra few $1,000s a month will really do wonders, because ultimately sales is the vehicle to get us the money to fund what it is that we want. We're not chasing money. We're not chasing the almighty dollar. Okay. We need the money in order to achieve our goals, our dreams, and our visions, because our goals and our dreams and our visions should be so big that it not only benefits us individually, it benefits our family, and it allows us to be a benefit and a blessing to those around us, our extended family, our friends, our community, and heck, even if big enough to even incorporate your city, state, or the nation that you live in. So thehardknockstate.com, $97 a month. Please, I'd love to see you in the next group coaching session. So let's recap what those steps are, these basic 4 steps, because it is the foundation, as I mentioned. So 1, knowing what it is that you absolutely want. What is that goal, that dream, or that vision that you're chasing down? Number 2, we got to commit to that goal, that dream, or that vision. And we got to develop no limit thinking. Okay. We've got to develop a thinking mindset, a mindset of abundance, a mindset where there's no lack, no shortages. Okay. And number 3, we need to commit to putting our goals down to writing. We need to become a scribe. If you're not big into writing, if you're not big into journaling, if you think it's kind of woo-woo and kind of silly to put pen to a piece of paper, I got to tell you, this right here is more important than you will ever know. And so we need to commit our goals, our dreams, and our vision down to daily writing. And then the 4th step is we got to put in the work. We got to take action. We got to do something every single day that contributes to getting us closer to achieving that goal, that dream, or that vision. And we'll talk a little bit more about putting the work in this segment. But grit is everything. And so in order for us to advance, because we have these massive, massive goals, these massive visions, these massive dreams, we're going to need to develop thicker skin. We're going to need to develop grit, just like the grit of a piece of sandpaper. There's all different depths of grit. We need to develop some really serious, deep grit in ourselves if we are that piece of sandpaper. So the Hard Knock State grit development formula is very simple. It's persistence times resilience equals grit. Persistence, how many times can you get up and keep pushing, keep asking, keep finding workarounds, keep finding ways to get what it is that you want out of life. And resilience, being able to put in the work as long as it takes. Look, I've mentioned Elon Musk before, but think about Elon Musk and his mission to colonize Mars. Will he achieve that in his lifetime? Probably not. So he's got to have the resilience to keep moving forward, knowing that his vision may not be achieved in this lifetime, and he's going to have to put people in place to carry that vision on until we actually do achieve it. Will we achieve it? If he doesn't give up and the people who he passes the torch along to never give up, at one point in time, we will be on Mars. So, hey, look, the Hard Knock State Circle of Success. And I went over this a couple weeks ago, but this is very important because if you are stuck and you don't really understand how to keep advancing and keep going, keep with your persistence, keep resilient, you got to know you got to block out those negative thoughts. And we got to replace with positive. It's the thought of victory. It's the thought of us in the action when that goal, that dream, or that vision is fulfilled. The moment it happens, hey, people are high-fiving you. You're smiling from ear to ear, right? You're doing a happy dance. Whatever it is, you got to, whenever a negative thought comes in, you got to push it out and you got to replace it with that thought of victory. Okay? We need to write our goals down daily. And again, goals written down daily should be as if it's already been achieved. And we should do it, try to do it in the morning and in the evening. But if you do it once a day, you'll develop the habit, and pretty soon you'll be doing it twice a day. And then three, we got to put the work in. Something every day toward achieving our goal, our dream, and our vision. Some kind of work, no matter how big or how small, we got to put the work in. Because your universe up until now, if this is just our universe, our Earth, our circle, our sphere, it's been going one direction. Okay, it's been going in the opposite direction of how we wanted our life to go. And it's because we've allowed negative thoughts. We've allowed limiting self talk. We've allowed other people to pour negative thoughts and negative self talk onto us. We have no goals. We have no direction. We have no purpose. We have no intent. And then, therefore, that creates confusion. We wander. We don't know what we're really here to do. And we shy away from work. Okay. We don't take any extra effort besides getting ready in the morning, getting the kids ready for school, driving off to our 9 to 5 job or our retail job at all times of the day, if those in retail know what I'm talking about. And we do that day in and day out, day in and day out. We repeat the cycle, and we don't think about the future. We hope that things are going to work out for the best in the future when we retire. But the reality is, if we don't have a big enough goal, big enough dream, a big enough vision, if we don't have purpose, we're never actually going to get there. And what we're thinking about how we hope it's going to work out, 20 years will go by and we'll be saying the same darn thing. I hope I'll be able to retire. I hope things will work out. So we need to stop all this, because when we do that and we just stop, we block out the negative thoughts, we write our goals down every day, we put the work in every single day, pretty soon, instead of our world, our universe will start going the way we want it to go. And then we become aligned with our purpose. We become aligned with our intent. And we're doing this on a daily basis. We're on all the time. It becomes a habit. We think of a negative thought. We think of our dream, our vision, our goal, whatever it is. And then the negative thought comes in. We just block it out. No, thank you. Block it out and replace it with the thought of victory. Writing our goals down, putting in the work every single day. And then before you know it, our universe is moving faster and faster and faster the way we want it to go. And we're building momentum. And then pretty soon, nothing could stop us. And then because we have so much momentum behind us, anytime when we do run into a barrier or a roadblock or a speed bump along the way to achieving that goal, that dream, or that vision, we're able to critically think in a moment on how to blow through it or go around it, go over it, go under it. We're able to find the solution because we're thinking of victory. We're thinking of, we know we're going to hit the goal. We have that belief drilled so deep down, that commitment drilled so deep down. There's no other choice but other than to succeed. So that is the Hard Knock State circle of success. So we block out the negative thoughts and self-talk. We replace the negative thoughts with that of victory. Replace the I can't talk with the I can talk. We write our goals down daily. Best practice, once in the morning and once at night. And then we put the work in. Every day we do something that contributes to achieving your goal, or your dream, or your vision. The amount of productive work that is put into it will determine the speed of which your goal is achieved. So if we're doing 1 or 2 little small actions each day, that's better than doing nothing. But you got to know it's going to take longer to achieve your goal, your dream, or your vision. While we put in the work, try to hold the mental vision of victory of the goal we're achieving. Just like when we block out those negative thoughts, when we're putting the work, we're working toward our goal, our dream, or our vision. We need to stay in a state of gratitude, in a state of joy, and we need to be constantly thinking about what life is going to be like after we've hit that goal, after we made that dream come true, and we've achieved that vision. So, what is a breakthrough? Well, the Merriam-Webster dictionary defines breakthrough as one, and there's many different descriptions. This is the one that we need to focus on the most because it relates more to this topic than anything else. But it's a sudden advance, especially in knowledge or a technique. And so when we have a breakthrough, whenever there's a medical breakthrough or a breakthrough in science, it is an advanced, especially in knowledge or a technique. They have found a way to advance. They have received some information, some knowledge, or a way to go about doing things, putting the puzzle pieces together in order to move forward. And it's no different inside of our own mind. And so when we achieve these goals, on the way to achieving the goals, the dream or the visions, along that way, we're going to have a breakthrough, and things are just going to get easier, and we're going to be able to move faster because of that. So, what is a mental block? A mental block is also called a wall or a barrier. Essentially, it's caused by our programming, our upbringing, when a similar past situation happened. Okay, programming and upbringing, family code of ethics. Okay, this is what we were taught when we were children. This is how the Nelsons do it, right? And things that we've been told not to do, or that won't work out for us. Okay, for one reason or another, something like, hey, your cousin tried that once and he failed, or hey, nobody in our family's ever done that. Why do you think you're going to be able to do that? Okay, hey, don't be silly. We need to think realistic. We need to get back down to earth. Okay, or you're not going to go off and be an astronaut. Okay, you're not going to be able to play ball. You're not going to be able to do all this. You need to go think about getting a real job that's going to pay you a real income, and then you need to do that and save all that money for the next 30 or 40 years. And maybe son, maybe daughter, you'll be able to retire and be comfortable. Okay, that is all limited thinking, but that is our upbringing. That is our conditioning. That is our programming. And many of these things that are instilled in us, we've developed, and it's formed in our mind by the age of 8 years old. So past or similar situations, okay? Hey, you touched the hot stove once and you're never going close to it again, right? You got in trouble and an adult told you you were no good or you were bad, right? So these little things sink into us because there's a emotion tied to it. So understanding what the mental block is, okay? The mental block, most blocks were formed in us again by the age of 8. Their memory stored in our brain's hippocampus, okay? That is our brain's central memory bank. The amygdala works with the hippocampus and our fight or flight system, and pulls memory files to compare with present situations. Okay, if the memory from the past similar situation is bad or negative, if it was hurtful or harmful, it causes us to do everything to avoid the present situation. And this is an area that I can't stress enough, because it is causing our body to act in irrational ways, and sometimes it causes us, it floods our mind with the negative self-talk, those negative thoughts, those things that we're no good, we can't do it, nobody in our family, money doesn't grow on trees, there's starving people in China. We've all heard it before, okay? But if it's a memory from a past or similar situation that's bad, negative, hurtful, or harmful, it's gonna do that to us. And it can make us run and hide. It can make us put up a fight. It can make us freeze, or it can leave us speechless. Okay. So with that too, you got to understand that those situations typically don't repeat themselves again. And so all it's doing, the amygdala is doing, is it's trying to keep us from harm. And so it's flooding our minds with those negative thoughts that, and it's causing us to talk to ourselves with a negative, limiting self-talk. But the reality is, all it's trying to do, it's trying to keep us from having another harmful or hurtful or painful situation. The reality is, though, that those are two, even though they may seem similar to our brain and our past memory, those are two completely different situations. And just because it happened once in the past does not mean it's going to happen again in the future. So we need to be resilient and persistent and push forward through that. So let's talk about identifying our mental blocks, okay? Because this is going to require a bit of thought and self-reflection. It's going to actually require us to think. It's going to require us to sit down in a quiet area, take some time, and really dig in to us. Really open the recesses of your mind and jump inside and start playing around, start thinking about everything that's happened in the past. Okay, we need to ask ourselves real and hard questions. Okay, we need to analyze difficult situations and experiences from the past, things that we may not want to think about again. I mean, they may be really, real hurtful things. Going into our past is ugly. Okay, going in our past is something that most of us don't want to do. We don't want to open that can of worms again. We don't want to open Pandora's box again. We don't even want to think about it again. But the reality is, when we're going after big, massive goals, dreams, and visions, okay, these things we don't want to think about are actually the things that are holding us back. Okay, it's causing us not to touch that hot stove again, right? It's causing us to avoid that interaction that we need to have. Okay. And so, how do we do it? Okay, think about a timeline in a school history textbook. Remember, you're sitting in class, you're in history class, you're going through the pages of the history book, and there's a timeline. It says, hey, this period, this history that we're learning happened between here, A, and happened between B. And this is what happened all along each individual year on how we progressed to get to where we are today. Okay, well, it's the same thing with us mentally. Okay, we all have a mental timeline, and it's constantly going. It's that clock is constantly ticking. Okay, the train track is constantly being built. Okay, until we leave this world, and then once we leave the world, it's all gone. But hopefully we leave enough positive behind for the generations behind us. So getting back to this mental time frame in our past and how we perceive that it's played out, we need to start thinking back from where we are now and think in reverse until we can remember a similar situation or encounter something similar to what we just experienced. And we need to think deeply of how it made us feel. Did it cause emotional or physical pain? Okay, this is really important. And we need to go back in there, and we need to think how it made us feel during that moment. Hey, if it was no big deal and there was no physical pain or emotional pain caused, and we just need to brush that portion off and keep going back even further. We need to keep thinking in reverse until we can remember or find that situation where that pain happened, whether it was emotional or physical. Okay, whether it was us being humiliated, whether it was people laughing at us, whether it was being bullied, getting beat up at school, whether you came from an abusive household, whatever it was, we need to go back and we need to find certain areas. If it's money, what were the talks about monies with our family? And so this is where the mental block lives. Okay, once it's found, it's time to smash it. It's time to be like Mario and Super Mario Brothers, when you just jump up and smash those blocks. Okay, in order for this to work, though, we need to be 100% truthful with ourselves and how it made us feel. And by letting our ego go or get in the way and just brushing it off, the blocks will remain the same. And we're going to run into the same situation again and again and again. And it could turn out to be a bigger problem moving forward in the future. If we think we found the block, remember the situation and keep thinking back a little bit further. So once we think we found what that cause was, we need to actually just kind of mentally make a note of it or write it down, where the period of time that it was, who we were with, who all was involved, what was said, and then we need to just keep thinking back in reverse. Okay. We need to think back in reverse to identify whether it's a reoccurring problem. If we were faced with similar situations previously where the result remained the same. Okay, so we're looking for patterns. Okay, we're looking for reproductions of the same situation happening over and over again. If there are multiple similar situations throughout your life that have happened and the result always turned out the same, you actually haven't found the block. Okay, like weeds in a garden, the roots can grow down deep, and you'll know where the block is when you think back even further in your memory timeline, and there's no further memory of that situation happening. So once we think we found it, but then we need to go back and we find another time when something similar happened, and then we think back a little further, we find another time, and then we keep thinking back. And the younger we get in our memory timeline, and none of that has occurred, that last situation is where the block is living. Okay, so if no further memory, you've identified the block. So go back to that mental block, and then once you got it, great. Now let's start working on smashing it. Let's go to work, right? Let's break out our hammer. Let's be Super Mario Brothers. So asking yourself the hard questions. Okay, the questions we get when the answers we get when we're asking these questions are highly important. So what are the questions? Okay, questions like, how did this happen? Why did it happen? What was the environment around us when it happened? If there were other people involved, who were those people? Okay, and who are they and what influence did they have on our lives other than this situation? What was going on in their life at the time this incident occurred? And the answers to these questions need to be followed up with another question. Okay, and that question is why? And it's simple. WHY. Why? Why did they say or take that type of action toward you? Why were they involved in this situation? And why not? Why did they not say something else instead of what they told us? Okay. Or why did they take another action differently than the one that they took? Why did it cause so much pain, emotional or physical pain in our lives? And why did others help or not help out? And why do you even care? Okay. So answering these hard questions. When we've asked the right questions carefully and analyzed our answers, it should hit an emotional vein. In fact, it will hit an emotional vein. The answers we tell ourselves at first may be like a Band-Aid covering up the real wound, okay, the real scar, or the real reason. This is the reason why is so, and this is the reason the word why, the question why, is so important. Once we can't come up with different answers to when we ask that question why, and it just keeps looping around and around and around, and we start finding ourselves asking why and coming up with the same answers, then we may have found the end of that root to the weed or that block. Okay, we may have found what formed that block. Okay, for instance, I can't do it. Why? I just can't do it. Why? I was told not to. Why were you told not to? I don't know. I was just told I can't. Who told you that and why? Okay, so that's the type of questioning we need to mentally ask ourselves. And we need to figure this out because pretty soon we're going to come up with the solution. We're going to figure it out. We're going to understand why that person said what he said, what was the environment they were going through, what they were experiencing at the time. And hey, it may take you calling another family member or another friend to ask them who maybe saw the situation or was present in the situation. And maybe it was your dad, maybe it was your mother, maybe it was your uncle, maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a pastor, maybe it was a coach. Okay. And so we need to figure out, maybe they were just going through an extremely hard time and they didn't realize they were saying what they were saying, or they didn't realize the actions they were taking at that point in time. And they don't even realize that it hurt you the way it did. And it created this mental block, and it's stopping you from going after and getting what it is you want out of life. Okay. Look, if earning money is a problem, you were told or you heard things like money doesn't grow on trees. Feel lucky that because others don't have it as good as you have it. Others don't have what you have. Feel lucky, right? Why? It just doesn't. And should I feel happy just to get by when others have it worse? See that line of question we need to ask ourselves if we're running into money problems and we sabotage our success, we self-sabotage our success every time we move forward. We try to go get in a promotion. We're put on a test by our manager. Hey, look, in order for you to get this, I need you to do this better. I need you to do this better. I need you to do this. We'll review it in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. And all of a sudden, you go out back onto the floor, you go start doing your job, go back to your office, and things don't seem to get better. In fact, you seem to actually keep messing up even more than before you asked for the promotion and was given the test to accomplish. Well, those are because of these mental barriers, these mental blocks. And so we need to figure out why it is what it is. What do we understand about money? What were we taught about money? Did we see our parents holding on to every red nickel? Did we see them pinch pennies? Did you have hand-me-down clothes when you knew your parents could go off and buy you new clothes? That is all limiting beliefs and beliefs of shortage and lack. And it probably came from their parents who lived through the Great Depression, and it was just passed down the line. And it has no bearance in your life today and no bearance in your generation, but it's what you were told. Remember, it's our upbringing. It's our family core beliefs. It's our family core ethics. Okay. And it's just continuously regurgitated over and over again and passed down. And if you're really trying to advance and you're studying this material and you're really taking a look in yourself to try to find out how you can get through this and smash those mental blocks, then you need to ask yourselves these questions, because you need to be the person who stops it. You need to be the person who ends it, okay, and creates a new set of thinking and a new mindset and new programming, one of abundance and success, so you could pass that on to the next generation. So in most cases where a mental block resides and the reason it was formed in the first place is based off of what we were told or the punishment we received for our actions growing up. Okay, are we really no good, or are we really bad? Of course not. But this was told to us by the people who we looked up to, trusted, or loved. And many times it's how they were raised and the mental program that they are running, and it's just getting passed down to another generation. It could have been a peer of ours who bullied us when we were young. Okay, they most likely, if you were the recipient of being bullied, if you were the one who was getting beat up, the bullies themselves, as you've probably heard, they probably had it very hard in their family growing up, and they were probably maybe the victim of some household abuse, maybe by a mother or a father or older brother or an older sister. Maybe when they got home from school, they got their butt kicked, okay, and smacked around a lot. Okay, well, they went off and they started bullying other people. Okay, and so knowing, asking yourself the why question, and why was this person involved, and why was he doing those things he was doing, or he or she were doing, then that allows us, that question why allows us to look further than what we've been looking, because before we were just a victim, and now we're by asking why, we're actually understanding why they actually bullied us, or why they said no, or why they smacked us around, or whatever it was. And then that will open the door to forgive. And simply, we want to forgive in order to move forward. We need to forgive in order to move forward. Without forgiving the situation, we cannot move forward. Plain and simple. This is how we are smashing that block. We've identified the block. We figured out where the root cause of it is. And now we got to smash that block into smithereens. We got to smash that block so we don't keep repeating the same situation over and over again. And we could truly advance to achieving our goals, our dreams, or our visions. So in Bob Proctor's seminar, You Were Born Rich, he talks about having a conversation in the lobby of a hotel. This was during a time where Bob was running around like a madman, and he was the victim of just massive, massive headaches. In fact, he talks about taking codeine sinus tablets, and they were like 20 in a bottle, and he was like taking 3 bottles a day, 3 or 4 of these bottles a day, and he just had a constant headache, and there was constant pressure on him. And this guy sat him down, and Bob had to get going because he had a flight to catch, and this guy just started talking to him and told him, hey, you need to slow down. You need to just chill for a minute, man, because you can always catch another flight, but you don't get another chance at this life, right? So Bob, succumbed to the guy's wishes, and he just sat there and listened to him. And the guy told him, hey, Bob, do you know what it means to forgive? And Bob says, I don't know. I suppose I don't, because he wasn't really wild about sitting there when he knew he had a plane to catch. And the guy told him, hey, Bob, the word forgive means to let go of completely. And think about that. When we forgive somebody for their actions, when we truly forgive a situation for happening, or a situation that somebody put us into, or a situation where they hurt us or they maybe they were just joking around and they didn't really mean to take it as far as they did, but it really tore us up inside. It really hurt us. We can't believe somebody we're this close to would say something like that. When we forgive that situation and we forgive what they had said, we're letting go of that completely. We're giving it no power. No longer does it have a power or a hold or handcuffs on us. Okay? No, we're breaking those shackles when we forgive completely. When we forgive, we are simply forgiving the situation from happening and forgiving the person from hurting us like they have. Okay? In many cases, as I mentioned, they don't even realize they've hurt us. They don't even realize the pain, the true emotional pain they caused. So we just need to forgive. If they don't know how bad it hurt us, or if they do know how bad they hurt us and they just don't care, they have no regard for you. Okay. And these people. For believers, the scripture tells us when we forgive, we're handing the situation over to God. And when we forgive 70 times 7, it's like we're dumping hot coals on our enemy's head. And so that's God taking revenge. You're giving your worries, you're giving that pain of being a victim, you're giving that emotional or physical pain that happened to us long ago. You're giving that over, you're turning it over, and you're letting powers greater than you handle the situation. Okay. Simply put, we must forgive to move forward. Forgive, though, does not mean that we need to interact with this individual again and verbally talk to them and tell them how bad it hurt us. Okay. We don't need to do that. We just need to mentally forgive the situation, mentally forgive the person, maybe because they are a complete idiot for hurting us, maybe because they didn't realize that they hurt us. Maybe we forgive them because that's all they knew with the knowledge they had at that period of time. We need to forgive. We need to move forward. Okay. Just mentally forgive because it's in the past. So smashing your mental blocks, okay? Got to let it go, okay? When we forgive, we let go of completely. So let it go. What's in the past is in the past. You can't change the past. You can only create your future. Let go of the pain and suffering. Let go of who did you wrong. Okay. Let go of why it hasn't worked out. Let go of any limiting beliefs. Let go of that limiting self-talk, that doubting self-talk. Let go of settling just getting by. Let go of settling that you have enough. Let go of settling because you have it better than other people. The reality is that we need our goals, our dreams, and our visions, I said in the beginning, have to be so big. They need to be so big. They need to be so big that it's going to benefit not only us as individuals, it's going to benefit our family, it's going to benefit our extended family, it's going to benefit our community. Heck, it might even benefit the city, the state, or the country that you live in, or the province that you live in. Matter what people think. Part of these mental blocks come from us caring so much. Okay, we care, we want to do a good job, we care, and then when somebody says something, we overreact to that situation. We take it personal because we put so much care into it. And the reality is, we should care about our goals, our dreams, and our visions. Well, 100%. But what we shouldn't do is we shouldn't care about what other people think. Everybody's got an opinion. I love what Wayne Dyer said in one of his books. He says, when I get up on stage, there are in front of, say, 2,000 people. There are 2,000 people who each individually have a different thought about me. Those are 2,000 different thoughts, okay? About every single individual has a different thought, okay? So there's 2,000 thoughts that are setting up 2,000 anyway, there's no way that you can care about all those 2,000 people. You may care about them as a group or individually or want to see them succeed and be happy for them, but you can't care about what they think about you. You just can't. Not everybody's going to be for you, okay? And not everybody is going to see things your way. And not everybody is going to be on board with your goal, your dream, or your vision, okay? What is important is what you think about you. It's your self-image, how you handle situations, how you handle and how you need to just like water off a duck's back when people say anything negative to you or why you can't achieve that or you're really going to try that. Okay. Like water off a duck's back, just brush it off and replace it with a thought of victory. Replace it with the image of you in that moment, that victory moment when your goal is being achieved. So smash your mental blocks. Okay. Now it's time for new beginnings. We've smashed our mental blocks. We identified, we understand what a mental block is. We went through our timeline. We found out the root cause of it, just like the garden weed. And we went back, we identified it. We asked ourselves the hard questions. We maybe had a good cry. You know, we maybe have had to just really sit down and really stew on it for a couple hours, maybe a day, maybe a week. But at some point in time, we just ultimately forgave. We ultimately just let it go. And so you'll know when you smash that mental block that has been holding you back, because it will feel like a true weight has been lifted off your shoulders. Once that mental block is smashed, it will be much easier, much easier to block out any future negative thoughts and block out any limiting self-talk and stopping any limiting self-talk. Your perception, the way you see things, will start to change because you'll realize that more is possible than you ever thought was possible. And when our mental blocks are smashed, we can think clearer and more logically. Critical thinking will start becoming a habit, okay? And you'll be able to focus deeper on your goals, your dreams, or your visions. We're gonna, by doing this and smashing those mental blocks, and with that new perception, and with replacing with that limiting self-talk and that limiting, and now any of those negative thoughts that come through our head, after we do this constantly over and over again, like the success circle here, we are going to eventually develop the habit of this. And because Here, no limit thinking is exactly this. You can do it. You can do it. You are good enough to do it. Okay. No matter what anybody said, you are capable. You are good enough to do it. And if it's in your that goal, that dream, or your vision, if it's in your mind, if it's in your imagination, and you've committed that you're going after it, and you're writing your goals down every day towards it, you're putting a little bit of work in every single day to achieve it, you can achieve it. You just need to keep grinding, okay? Because if you can, you must. That's a really good quote from Grant Cardone there. If you can, you must. Look, I love what else Grant says. Success is our duty. It's our responsibility. Okay, we need to go after it. Abundance is everywhere. There is no lack. There is no shortage. There is no limit to what you can achieve. We're only limited by our mental state of mind. And that is a reality. Everything we have in this world has started off with a thought. Somebody had the resilience or the persistence to keep pushing forward to turn it into a reality. Okay. The swimming pool that you swim in, the house you live in, the car you drive, the phone you talk on, the watch you look at, okay, the clothes you wear, whatever it is. At one time, at one period of time, it was the thought or the vision of one individual to solve a problem and make somebody's life easier. And they knew if they were able to solve this problem, they were going to get rewarded beyond anything that they've ever believed. Okay. And it's true. Okay. If others are able to achieve billionaire status, you can too. The only difference between you and them is the way we think. It's the way you think, plain and simple. After getting into the habit of blocking negative thoughts and replacing it with the thought of victory, it will become second nature. And you're just going to do it without even thinking of it. And then pretty soon, every day you're smiling going to work, you're smiling working in your off time on your side business, you're happy, you're joyful, and you're grateful. And I got to tell you about being grateful. When we go through life, and if we're unhappy in our current situation, if we're unhappy in our current position, if we're unhappy with our current housing, our current automobile, the current clothes we wear, if we're unhappy about anything that we have, okay, we need to just stop right there, and we need to be grateful for it. Okay, not grateful because others have it worse off than us, but we need to be grateful that we are where we're at right now, and we may be going through a tough time right now, but if we can stay joyful and stay grateful and keep thinking about victory, keep replacing those negative thoughts, and don't let the outside world cave us in, and we can push through that. Okay, I got to tell you, you break through that mental block, and you can achieve anything you want. So more of no limit thinking. Success is 90% mental. Okay, no limit thinking builds confidence. No limit thinking builds determination. No limit thinking builds persistence. No limit thinking builds resilience. And persistence times resilience again equals grit. That's the Hard Knock State grit development formula. No limit thinking allows us to love ourselves more. When we can love ourselves more, we can love others easier. Okay. And above all, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Okay. No limit thinking allows us to be happy for others' successes versus being jealous and envious. Okay. And in all the sales organizations I've ever worked for, and all the businesses I've ever worked for, whenever somebody rises up, there's always cream that rises to the top. Whenever somebody has rose up and broke through, and they've really busted their butt to get to a higher level, and they got a great attitude, because they wouldn't get there without a great attitude. Everybody else around them seems to make jokes about them, jab them. Oh, he's the manager's little pet. He's the little yes boy, right? Or the little yes girl, right? Or they really just really good at brown nosing and sucking up to other people. Okay. What we should do is we should be happy for them. And we should congratulate them, because if they can do it, so can you. But if we're only tearing other people down for their successes and what they've achieved and picking fun at them or poking them, okay, all that's doing is that's limiting us. It's like we're talking in a mirror. We're talking in a recorder. We're playing it back to us. We're telling, by voicing that to other people or about other people, we are telling ourselves we're not good enough. And so when we are able to develop a deeper sense of self-love, that's going to create a stronger and a better self-image of ourselves. We're going to be able to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And we're going to be able to love people more. Hey, you may not want to love your neighbor. You may not like the way they take care of their yard. You may not like the music and how they play it so loud. You may not like a myriad of different things about them, but you need to love them. You need to love them as you love yourself. You need to love them as a brother or sister that you're each tromping through your own journeys together. Okay. And because the minute that you have an evil eye turned towards them, you're limiting yourself from achieving greatness. So again, thehardknockstate.com. Please, I'd love it for you to join our weekly group coaching sessions. You'll have a little bit different view because it will be over Zoom. And you can join for 1 month. You can join for 3 months. You can join for 6 months. Heck, you can join for a year if you want. And if you're worried or confused about where to start, if you any of this information I told you, we've gone over tonight during this topic, if it's piqued your interest in a certain way, if you're like, wow, some of this kind of makes sense, or geez, I really didn't realize that before, and now I'm going to start thinking a little differently, and you're really trying to get off and go to places or new levels in life, everybody starts differently. And some people get into this program and they already are in a good place, but they need help trying to get to a better place. Okay. And so everybody starts differently. There's people that have been through some really bad, horrible situations. Okay. Horrible situations. They may not be able to think these massive, huge goals. Maybe being able to go buy a new car or a good quality used car right now, and that will take them from A to B and be super reliable for the next 5 years. Maybe that is their big thing right now. So we all start in a different place. No matter where you start, a little coaching can help. And you can go to thehardknockstate.com and you can schedule a free 15-minute strategy sessions. In 15 minutes, we'll have a good conversation. Okay. We'll do some good critical thinking. We'll identify some of the areas that you're struggling with, and we'll show the correct path for you. Okay. Maybe that is private one-on-one group coaching, or private one-on-one coaching, or maybe it's weekly group coaching. If you're a business or a business team and or you manage a team and you can't get your team to do exactly what you want to do, hey, we could do a team group coaching, a private group coaching session, training session for your team. Okay, but it all starts by going to thehardknockstate.com and scheduling that free 15-minute consultation or strategy session, because you could jump in and you could change your life for as little as $97 a month. It may only take you 30 days to correct whatever it is that's going on that's holding you back from achieving the great things that you can achieve. Might take a little bit longer, but that is all up to you and where you're at this period of time. So, hey, look, I really appreciate you tuning in tonight, and hopefully we'll see you in the coaching session next week. Have a good one.